I'm a clingy attention seeker. I constantly ask my boyfriend for kisses and act all cute. I accidentally came across a post. What do you do when your girlfriend is too clingy? All the comments below advised breaking up. Clingy women are usually obsessive. Break up early, or you'll never be able to shake her off later. FYI, the clingier they are, the more annoying they get. Doesn't your girlfriend know this just pushes men further away? Break up. I have other things to do. Moving to the next post after a moment of silence. I looked at the man walking out of the bathroom wrapped in a towel. For once, I avoided his embrace. His eyes darkened with displeasure, frowning as he directly pulled me onto his lap. Not today. I looked at Ryan in front of me. This face had sharp features, excellent bone structure, and top-tier looks. Facing the man's questioning gaze, I clenched my fingers. I'm on my period. Stomach hurts. Ryan's brow furrowed slightly as he kissed my forehead. He put me under the covers and went to the kitchen. When he returned, he had brown sugar, water, and a heating pad. He fed me the drink and applied the heating pad. Sleep early. I'll go handle some work. I lay down properly, but Ryan stood by the bed without immediately leaving, as if waiting for something. My eyes wandered, pretending not to know, lying on my side with my back to him. A few seconds later, Ryan's footsteps grew more distant. I gripped the pillow tightly. I should be less clingy. That way he won't break up with me. Ryan and I grew up together. I've always been clingy with him. In kindergarten, I had to sit next to him to eat. Otherwise, I'd go on hunger strikes. In elementary school, I had to be his desk partner. Once a new teacher who didn't know our situation separated us, and I cried and threw tantrums. In middle and high school, Ryan consistently ranked first, won awards easily, and with that arrogant face, he got more and more admirers. My clingy nature exploded. I chased away those people one by one, and started watching Ryan every moment. If Ryan disappeared from my sight for an hour, I'd become irritable and anxious. After graduation, I confessed to Ryan. After we started dating, Ryan always granted my every request, but his attitude remained lukewarm, his expression cold. But I loved clinging to him too much. I forced him to work from home or take me to his company, demanding kisses regardless of time or place. Though he agreed every time, it always ended quickly. Even though his face showed he wanted more. A bitter feeling crossed my heart thinking about it now. He was probably tired of me long ago. In the morning, Ryan made a huge breakfast of all my favorites. When we get to the company later, I have a meeting. If you get impatient waiting, just text me. I ate the toast he handed me. No need. Ryan looked up, his gaze sweeping over my face. Speak King helplessly. Today's meeting is very important. Just come to the company today, and I'll work from home tomorrow. Okay? That's not what I mean. I won't go to the company anymore. And you don't need to work from home either. Usually I wished Ryan would stay home with me. Every day when he worked in his study, I had to sit on his lap, hugging him, nibbling on him from time to time. Now that I'm being so understanding, he shouldn't be unhappy, right? The man's smile froze almost imperceptibly for a moment. Are you angry? Something happened on the road last night, so I was 10 minutes late. I won't make you wait that long again. I finished the toast and drank all the milk in one go. Ryan stared at my hand, putting down the empty glass with complex eyes. I'm meeting friends today. Focus on your work. Ryan seemed about to say something, but his assistant kept calling frantically. After hanging up, he pulled me into his arms, kissed my lips lightly, and said flatly, "All right, then I'll make it up to you to tonight 10 times over." After Ryan left for the company, I stood there stunned. Ryan's work often required business trips, each time for 10 days to half a month. So, I hated when he traveled on our first anniversary. There was a small problem with the overseas company. Afraid I'd make a scene, Ryan left the country first and told me later. He only texted me after reaching the hotel. During that time, I texted him angry messages every 2 minutes, sometimes during video calls. At night I cry, scream, and curse. After a week-long trip, Ryan came back. I wouldn't let him into the master bedroom, no matter what. Ryan knocked on the door saying, "Gently, baby. I shouldn't have hidden it from you, but it was urgent. Let me in." Okay. I buried myself under the covers, ignoring him. A few minutes later, the door was pried open. Ryan pulled me out from under the covers, coldly holding me on his lap. He dominated, bit my mouth. Haven't kissed in so long. Let's make up with 10. Kiss this today. Okay. Then he leaned back, supporting himself with his hands behind him, looking like he was at my mercy. I didn't hold back either. I left bite marks all over him. But halfway through, Ryan's expression grew darker, his breathing increasingly unsteady. He urgently called for a stop and went to the bathroom. I was so absorbed then that I ignored the strangeness. Indeed, he found me annoying. From that point on, I sat on the sofa quietly reading that post. My girlfriend is the same every day after work. She wants me to hold her. Please. I'm tired all day. Where do I get the energy to coax her? Same here. Men work hard every day. then have to coax people after work. If you don't coax as well, they get angry and make you sleep on the couch. My ex-girlfriend constantly checked on me during meetings. My phone never stopped ringing. I almost got fired. The more I read, the colder my heart became. I've done all of these things. Am I about to become an ex-girlfriend too? Ryan suddenly called. Baby, I have a business dinner this afternoon. The partner secretary is a woman. Just letting you know. I was somewhat surprised eyes. But, remembering those comments. No need. You don't have to tell me about these things anymore. The other end was quiet for a long time. He doesn't need to report to me anymore. He should be happier. Okay, I'll get back to work. And I couldn't tell his emotion from his tone. He must be satisfied. I had 3 hours before my nail appointment. I sat in the entryway unpacking packages to pass time. Suddenly, the door's keypad made input sounds. Ryan pushed the door open, making eye contact with me among the delivery boxes. I blinked, confused. Why are you back? Ryan's eyes were dark and unclear as he scooped me up around the waist. I widened my eyes, instinctively scolding him. Ryan, what's wrong with you? Ryan didn't let go, instead kissing my mouth without explanation. He invaded deeply, dominantly, taking every bit of my breath. When it ended, I collapsed against him, gasping heavily. What are you doing? His cool fingertips, the hair from my forehead behind my ear. You kept looking at me pitifully. Didn't you want a kiss? My eyes were just sore from being open too long. But I didn't say much. The comment said, constantly arguing would also make boyfriends unhappy. Ryan held me for a long time. Emma, do you want it now? I froze, shaking my head. No need. Ryan's breathing paused. He said nothing more. Ryan still had to go to the business dinner before leaving. He lingered around me for a long time. I'm leaving now. Go ahead, Ryan. I'll be home by 8 tonight. Okay? Ryan kept looking back. I watched the closed door, my heart tightening. Usually, when he left, I'd hug and kiss him for a long time. Now I don't. He won't feel burdened anymore. After tidying up briefly, I went for my nail appointment. The nail salon owner was a girl. Beautiful and kind-hearted. Just talkative when she saw me. She looked behind me a few times. Huh, your boyfriend didn't come with you today? I shook my head. He has a business dinner. Once. My nails got accidentally ruined, and I cried for a long time. To comfort me, Ryan deposited thousands at the nail salon, but that wasn't enough. My nail designs were complex in several hours. So, I always made Ryan sit beside me over time. The owner got to know him. After 10 minutes, the owner asked, "Aren't you texting your boyfriend?" I was stunned. The owner joked, "Last time your boyfriend came with you, when he went out to buy you bubble tea, and didn't come back for a few minutes. You texting him? He's busy. Better not disturb him." So, everyone could tell. Clingy people really are annoying. I must change. Seeing my expression, the owner changed topics. Want bubble tea? My brother's coming later. I'll have him bring some for both of us. I was about to refuse when I felt my throat getting dry. Sure, thanks. No problem. Half an hour later, a decent-looking boy walked in. I turned to look and froze. Kevin John. He paused when he saw me, too, but quickly smiled and walked over. Emma, it's you. Kevin. I stared at the boy holding 2 cups of bubble tea, my mind flashing back to our high school days. Kevin had been in the class next to mine, a sunny, athletic guy who used to give me notes that Ryan usually intercepted and threw away before I could even read them. It really is you, Emma. Kevin's eyes lit up. He handed a cup to his sister, Chloe, and then offered the other to me. I haven't seen you since graduation. I heard you went to the local university, but we just lost touch. How have you been? I've been good, I said, taking the tea with a polite smile. I didn't know Chloe was your sister. Small world, right? Kevin pulled up a stool, sitting across from me as Chloe began painting a delicate French tip on my nails. So, what are you up to these days? Still following Ryan around like a little shadow. I froze. Even Kevin remembered me as the girl who couldn't survive without Ryan. The realization stung, reinforcing the toxic words I'd read on the forum. Clingy women are annoying. Break up early. No. I forced out a light laugh, though my chest felt tight. People grow up, you know? We have our own lives. Kevin looked mildly surprised but pleased. That's great to hear. Actually, I was wondering if maybe you'd want to grab dinner sometime? Catch up properly. Before I could even process the invitation, the bell above the salon door chimed sharply. The air in the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. I didn't even need to turn around to know who it was. The familiar scent of cedarwood, cold rain, and a faint hint of expensive tobacco washed over me. Ryan stood in the doorway. He was still wearing his immaculate charcoal suit, though his tie was loosened, and his top button was undone. His eyes, dark and stormy, swept past Chloe and locked directly onto Kevin. The look in his eyes was so violently possessive it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Ryan. I blurted out, genuinely shocked. It's barely 6:30. I thought your dinner was until 8 o'clock. Ryan didn't answer me immediately. He walked over, his long legs eating up the distance in 3 strides. He stopped right behind my chair, placing one large, warm hand casually but firmly on the back of my neck. His thumb stroked my skin, sending a shiver down my spine. The dinner ended early, Ryan said, his voice a low, smooth baritone that didn't quite mask the razor edge beneath it. He finally shifted his gaze down to me. I told you I'd be home by 8. I didn't want you waiting. Normally, this was the exact moment I would have thrown my arms around his waist, buried my face in his stomach, and whined about how much I missed him. I would have demanded a kiss in front of everyone. But the internet comments echoed in my head. Men work hard all day, then have to coax people after work. I swallowed the urge to hug him. Instead, I gave him a gentle, practiced smile. You didn't have to rush. I was just catching up with Kevin. Do you remember him? Ryan's thumb stopped moving on my neck. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. Kevin, Ryan said flatly, his tone implying the name left a bad taste in his mouth. I remember. High school track team. Always leaving poorly spelled poetry in the wrong lockers. Kevin flushed a deep red, standing up awkwardly. Hey, Ryan. Long time no see. I was just asking Emma to catch up over dinner. She's busy. Ryan cut him off, his voice dropping to a dangerous register. His hand slipped from my neck to grip my shoulder. I panicked. No. I can't let Ryan act like my overbearing babysitter. I need to show him I'm an independent woman who doesn't need him to manage my social life. Actually, I interjected, trying to keep my voice casual. A group catch-up could be fun. Maybe some other time, Kevin. The grip on my shoulder turned painfully tight for a fraction of a second before Ryan released me completely. He took a half step back. When I looked up at him through the mirror, his face was completely unreadable. The storm in his eyes had vanished, replaced by a terrifying, hollow blankness. Are you almost done? Ryan asked Chloe, ignoring my comment entirely. Just finished the top coat. Chloe squeaked, clearly intimidated by the sudden shift in the atmosphere. I paid quickly, grabbed my purse, and followed Ryan out to his car. The walk to the parking lot was silent. Usually, I'd be holding his hand, swinging our arms, and talking his ear off about the colors I chose. Today, I kept a foot of distance between us, clutching my purse with both hands. I was giving him space. He must be so relieved, right? When we got into the Bentley, Ryan didn't start the engine immediately. The streetlights cast harsh shadows over his sharp jawline. He gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles turning white. So, Ryan started, his voice deceptively soft. You don't want me to tell you about my schedule anymore. You don't hug me when I leave. And now you're making dinner plans with guys who used to harass you in high school. He wasn't harassing me, Ryan. We were just talking. I kept my eyes on the dashboard, terrified that if I looked at him, my resolve would crumble. I wanted him to hold me so badly my chest ached. Stay strong, Emma. Do you want him to dump you? And I'm just trying to be more mature. I know you're busy with work. I shouldn't be breathing down your neck all the time. It's annoying. Ryan slowly turned his head to look at me. Who said it was annoying? Nobody. I lied quickly. I just realized it myself. You work so hard. You don't need a girlfriend who acts like a child, demanding kisses and attention 24/7. So, I'm giving you space. A harsh, bitter laugh escaped Ryan's lips, a sound I had rarely ever heard from him. He leaned back against his seat, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair, ruining it. Space, he repeated, the word sounding like poison in his mouth. You're giving me space. Yes. Fine. He started the engine, the roar of the car matching the sudden, aggressive way he slammed his foot on the gas pedal. If that's what you want, Emma. Fine. The drive home was agonizing. The silence wasn't comfortable. It was a physical weight crushing the air out of my lungs. When we got to the apartment, I immediately went to the guest bathroom to shower, deliberately avoiding our usual routine where I'd sit on the bathroom counter and talk to him while he shaved. When I came out in my pajamas, Ryan was sitting on the edge of our bed, staring blankly at the floor. He had already showered in the master bath. His dark hair was damp, falling over his forehead, making him look surprisingly vulnerable. My heart twisted. I took a step toward him, my instinct screaming to straddle his lap and kiss the exhaustion away from his eyes. But I stopped myself. I walked to my side of the bed, pulled back the covers, and lay down facing the window. Good night, Ryan, I whispered. For a long time, there was no movement. Then the mattress dipped. The lamp clicked off. Usually, the moment the lights went out, Ryan's arm would wrap around my waist, pulling me flush against his chest. He would bury his face in my hair and hold me so tightly I could barely breathe. But I loved it. Tonight, there was a vast, cold expanse of sheets between us. I bit my lips so hard I tasted copper, tears silently pooling in my eyes and slipping down onto the pillow. It's for the best, I told myself. He didn't reach for you. See? He prefers it this way. The internet was right. What I couldn't see, behind me in the dark, was Ryan lying flat on his back, his hands clenched into fists at his sides, staring at the ceiling with bloodshot eyes, his chest heaving with silent, ragged breaths. The next week was absolute torture. I threw myself into a completely new routine to ensure I wasn't clinging to him. I stopped going to his company. I stopped forcing him to work from home. I even signed up for an evening pottery class, so I wouldn't be waiting by the door like a lost puppy when he got back. But instead of our relationship improving, a thick, suffocating ice seemed to freeze over our apartment. Ryan became a ghost. He was working longer hours than ever. When he was home, his face was a mask of cold indifference. He spoke to me in clipped, polite sentences. Have you eaten? Did you drive safely? Don't stay up too late. He sounded like a stranger. My heart broke a little more every day. The comments were right. My clinginess had pushed him away, but fixing it hadn't brought him back. He really was tired of me. The realization made me physically ill. I lost my appetite. The dark circles under my eyes grew heavier. On Thursday night, I was sitting on the living room rug, mindlessly folding laundry. I heard the front door open. Ryan walked in. He looked exhausted, his tie discarded, his jacket slung over his shoulder. You're back, I said softly, not getting up. Ryan stopped dead in his tracks, staring down at me. For a fleeting second, I saw a flash of pure, unadulterated desperation in his eyes, but he blinked and it was gone, replaced by that infuriating calm. I have a flight to Seattle tomorrow morning, he said smoothly. An acquisition deal fell through. I need to be there to handle the fallout. I'll be gone for 5 days. 5 days. My breath hitched. Normally, a 5-day trip would result in me throwing a colossal tantrum. I would have wrapped my arms around his legs, crying, begging him to take me with him, or at least guilt-tripping him into kissing me until my lips were bruised. Instead, I swallowed the massive lump in my throat, gave him a stiff nod, and said, Okay, let me know what clothes you want me to pack for you. Ryan dropped his briefcase. It hit the hardwood floor with a sharp crack. He took 2 slow steps toward me. The air grew impossibly thick. That's it? He asked, his voice a dangerous, low rasp. No tears? No demands to come with me? No throwing my suitcase out the window? I looked down at the shirt I was folding. I told you, Ryan. I'm growing up. I don't want to be a burden anymore. Look at me, he commanded softly. I shook my head, knowing if I met his eyes, I would start sobbing. I'll go pack your bag. I scrambled up from the floor, but before I could take a single step, Ryan's hand shot out, grabbing my wrist. His grip wasn't painful, but it was inescapable. He pulled me into his chest. He smelled like winter and exhaustion. I felt him bury his face into the crook of my neck, taking a deep, shuddering inhale. Emma, he whispered, his voice cracking slightly. My heart pounded furiously against my ribs. I wanted to melt into him. I wanted to wrap my arms around his neck and never let go. But my stubborn, terrified brain yelled at me to preserve my dignity. Don't do it. He's just pitying you. I gently pushed against his chest, breaking the embrace. You need to sleep. You have an early flight. I walked away, leaving him standing alone in the center of the living room. The next morning, Ryan left before I woke up. He didn't even wake me for a goodbye kiss. He just left a note on the nightstand. Flight leaves at 8. Lock the doors. I stared at the note, finally letting the tears fall. It was over. He was slowly phasing me out of his life. By the time he got back from Seattle, he'd probably have the breakup speech prepared. I spent Friday and Saturday in a state of numb depression. I didn't text him angrily. I didn't call him during his meetings. I barely looked at my phone. On Sunday, I dragged myself to the nail salon just to be out of the house. Chloe was there, and so was Kevin, helping her move some inventory. Seeing how pale and miserable I looked, Chloe insisted I stay for lunch. Kevin ordered pizza. They were kind, trying to cheer me up with stupid jokes, but my mind was 3,000 miles away in Seattle. You and Ryan hit a rough patch. Kevin asked gently, offering me a slice of pepperoni. Something like that, I mumbled, staring blankly at my phone screen. Ryan hadn't texted me since he landed. I hadn't texted him either. The silence was a mutual agreement of our impending end. Suddenly, my phone vibrated in my hand. It was a call from Ryan's executive assistant, Mark. I frowned and answered. Hello? Emma? Oh, thank God. Mark's voice was frantic, accompanied by the chaotic background noise of an airport terminal. Is Mr. Sterling with you? With me? I sat up straight, my pulse spiking. No, Mark. He's in Seattle with you. No, he's not. Mark sounded like he was on the verge of tears. We were supposed to have the final negotiation with the board an hour ago, but halfway through a briefing this morning, he looked at his phone, his face went completely pale, and he just bolted. He told me to handle the meeting and headed straight for the airport. He boarded a private charter back to New York 3 hours ago. He won't answer my calls. My mind went entirely blank. He came back. Why? I don't know, but whatever you do, please text me when you see him. The board is furious, and if he's not dying or dealing with a family emergency, we're going to lose millions. The line went dead. I stared at the phone. Why would Ryan abandon a multi-million-dollar deal? Did something happen to his parents? Emma, you okay? Kevin asked, looking concerned. I have to go home, I said quickly, grabbing my coat. Right now. I practically sprinted the 5 blocks back to our apartment building. When I reached our floor, the door was already slightly ajar. My heart leaped into my throat. I pushed it open. The apartment was dark, the curtains drawn. Suitcases were carelessly dropped in the hallway. Ryan. I called out, my voice trembling. I found him in our bedroom. He was sitting on the edge of the bed in the dark, his head in his hands. His suit jacket was tossed on the floor. His tie was ripped off. He looked completely shattered. Ryan, what happened? I rushed over, forgetting all my rules about space, dropping to my knees in front of him. Mark called me. He said you walked out of the meeting. Are you hurt? Did something happen to your family? He slowly raised his head. His eyes were bloodshot, rimmed with red, and filled with a frantic, terrifying intensity. Where were you? He asked, his voice a hoarse whisper. I went to Chloe's salon. Ryan, what's going on? He reached into his pocket, pulled out his phone, and threw it onto the mattress next to him. The screen was lit up, showing an Instagram post. It was a photo Chloe had tagged me in an hour ago, a picture of the pizza, with my arm and Kevin's arm visible in the frame. The caption read, Sunday pizza party with my faves at Emma and at Kevin. I saw that. Ryan breathed heavily, leaning forward, his hands gripping my shoulders so tightly it almost hurt. I was sitting in a boardroom, listening to old men argue about stock options, and my phone buzzed. I saw that photo, and suddenly I couldn't breathe. Ryan, it was just lunch. I don't care about the lunch, he suddenly roared, the raw volume of his voice making me flinch. But just as quickly, the anger collapsed, leaving behind pure desperation. He slid off the bed, dropping to his knees on the floor right in front of me, bringing us eye to eye. I don't care about the lunch, he repeated, his voice breaking. He wrapped his arms around my waist, pulling me flush against his chest, burying his face in my neck like a drowning man finding a piece of driftwood. I care that you didn't text me. I care that it's been 3 days, and you haven't called me to yell at me for leaving. I care that you didn't demand I bring you back a present. I care that you're slowly learning how to live without me, and it is killing me, Emma. I froze, my hands hovering over his back in shock. Killing you? But I thought you wanted this. I thought I was annoying you. Ryan pulled back sharply, his hands moving to cut my face. His thumbs brushed furiously at the tears that were now streaming down my cheeks. Where the hell did you get an idea like that? When have I ever said you annoyed me? You didn't have to say it. I cried out, the dam finally breaking. All the insecurity, all the fear of the last 2 weeks came pouring out. You're always so cold. You let me kiss you, but you always stop it. When you came back from your trip last year, I bit you and you literally pushed me away and ran to the bathroom. You couldn't even stand to touch me.